Right now, on to the point. New details in the Esparto fireworks explosion, who owned the land, and why one victim's family says they're not getting their questions answered.
He's gone. And now what? Now what do we do?
Plus, a dangerous journey at sea. Tonight, a first-hand look inside the mission to stop migrant journeys off the California coast. Fix 50 just hit another roadblock, how a new problem could create more headaches for drivers. And later, Champions of Hope. He's made a name for himself on the football field, but it's what he's doing off the field that's creating real change. We start with breaking news tonight. An immigration protest in Ventura County is growing following a raid at a farm. The confrontation happened outside an agricultural site in Camarillo. Federal agents have been seen clashing with protesters, at one point even pinning a person to the ground. Today's raid was part of at least 2 large-scale operations in Southern California, and it follows a directive from President Trump ordering ICE to carry out what he calls the largest mass deportation effort in U.S. history. And happening now in Stockton, investigators are at a scene of a probation officer being burned. This is happening in the area of South San Joaquin Street and East Lafayette Street. Police say a suspect, a 39-year-old man, is in custody. They say he entered the probation office lobby carrying a gas can and a lighter. When confronted by security, he left the building and a probation officer followed him to the parking lot. Police say the probation officer suffered burns on his arms and was transported to UC Davis Medical Center. It's still unclear why the suspect, who was on a post-release community supervision, was at the probation office. And that's a story that we will continue to follow. As always, thank you so much for joining us on To The Point. I'm Alex Bell. And turning to Yolo County now, tonight marks 9 days since the deadly explosion at a fireworks warehouse in Esparto. The blast burned 80 acres, destroyed buildings, and forced evacuations, which are still in effect. 7 people were killed, including young workers, a father-to-be, a recent high school graduate, and families have identified 5 of the 7 victims to ABC-10. However, DNA testing is still ongoing. The Federal Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives and California's State Fire Marshal are leading the investigation into the cause of the explosion. Now, we have been speaking with family members of the victims who say that they are just completely desperate for answers. ABC10's Becca Habegger joins us live in studio now. And Becca, they say that they haven't received any meaningful information from what you're hearing.
Yeah, family members want to know how this deadly explosion was ever able to happen, what safety measures were lacking, and who was responsible. They say they are waiting on the answers to those questions and so many more.
He loved to play around, dance. He loved to joke around with everybody. He loved to hug everybody. And he just always had a smile on his face, no matter what.
Lupe Melendez Mendoza is remembering the son she lost on July 1st, Joel Melendez Jr.
Everybody called him Junior.
Larry Sullivan is Junior's uncle.
It's just really hard to think of him as being gone now. It's like we just saw each other not too long ago.
Junior had a wife and baby boy with another son on the way. He worked at the fireworks facility that exploded in the Yolo County community of Esparto, killing 7.
It's just a lot of grief, a lot of hurt, and just no answers.
9 days later, family members say they're still desperate for information.
I understand the fire marshal has to keep some things confidential, but it just seems to me that there's been absolutely nothing coming out from any agency whatsoever that would give any kind of comfort or any kind of understanding to this entire event. How did this happen? How could things have gotten that bad that you have what, from the air at least, looked like a thermonuclear blast? That's ridiculous. And these kids were destroyed in the prime of their life. They were just kids.
I love my son. He's just not somebody just to be forgotten and blown up like that and just thrown away. I need answers. He meant too much to me.
Was that a safe facility? Did it have its proper permits? There's a lot of security concerns here, and no one's saying anything.
They say Junior felt safe at work. ABC10 has learned a Yolo County Sheriff's Office employee owns the property where the facility was located. We've previously reported Lieutenant Sam Machado lived on the property and lost his home in the explosion and subsequent fire.
To me, the fact that they had a sheriff's officer owning the property, that's a possible conflict of interest right there.
They say the family is speaking with an attorney about possible evidence of safety concerns that existed prior to the explosion. They want whoever is responsible to be held accountable.
The owners, they have children possibly, and their children mean a lot to them. Whoever is responsible, your child, look at them. My child meant that much to me, and I don't know how I'm going to go on without him.
Junior was 28 years old. Now we're still waiting on the Yolo County coroner to officially identify all 7 victims. I've asked Yolo County and CAL FIRE, the lead agency on this investigation, when we can expect to learn that information. CAL FIRE declined to say, and we haven't yet heard back from Yolo County despite reaching out to a spokesperson over the course of the past 2 days. Alex?
All right, Becca, thank you. And we do have continuing coverage of the Esparto fire right now on our ABC 10 Plus TV streaming app. That app is free to download to your TV. Tonight, the Red Cross is providing assistance to 6 people following an apartment fire in North Sacramento. It happened this morning off Edison Avenue, and firefighters quickly contained the flames to 2 units. One firefighter suffered a minor injury and is being evaluated and released. In Los Angeles, a terrifying ordeal underground. A section of an industrial tunnel collapsed overnight while 31 construction workers were 400 feet below. The workers were trapped inside a 7-mile-long tunnel being built as part of LA County's Clean Water Project. With debris blocking their transport, they had to climb over 12 feet of loose dirt just to reach safety. All 31 made it out safely with no serious injuries. The cause of the collapse is still under investigation. Migrants trying to reach the U.S. by sea often face a rough and dangerous journey. In the wake of recent tragedies off San Diego's coast, Brian White got to ride along with U.S. Customs and Border Protection officers for a firsthand look at the dangerous route that some take in pursuit of a new life.
It's just after sunrise. We're in the open ocean off the coast of the U.S.-Mexico border. The water is cold and the waves are rough. This is the same treacherous route smugglers and migrants take, desperate for a lane to the U.S. With low visibility and no safety equipment, the journey can often turn deadly.
To show just how dangerous this route can be, U.S. Customs and Border Protection brought me out on an air and marine vessel to experience the elements firsthand, replicating a typical smuggling route.
We think it's best to let the media get hands-on, get actually into the water and see what it's actually like.
During the demonstration, agents staged a simulated interdiction showing how CBP intercepts overloaded pangas on the open ocean.
The dangers of maritime smuggling have been at the forefront here in San Diego. Obviously, we've seen recent fatal events.
CBP says smugglers have become more brazen, sometimes landing vessels in broad daylight on crowded beaches, from Imperial Beach to as far north as Santa Barbara.
You can imagine being on one of these vessels, 20 feet long in the middle of the ocean. You'll see as we head out even 10 miles, you're in the middle of nowhere, honestly. There's no help, there's no one out there.
This year alone, San Diego sector has responded to nearly 400 maritime smuggling events. They've apprehended 1,200 people so far. That's up from 1,000 this time last year. In May, a panga believed to be carrying migrants capsized off the coast of Del Mar, killing at least 4 people.
Smugglers had no problem and no worries about operating in that kind of environment and that kind of danger. This is something that we're all seeing and we're all dealing with.
Smugglers are taking advantage of the vast coastline, often packing 20 to 25 people in a single panga, with no safety gear, no lights, and no regard for human life. Border agents say what begins as a desperate journey often ends in tragedy.
Still ahead on To the Point, another delay for Project Fix 50. Crews find cracks in broken concrete. Why more closures are now necessary.
And it was hot today, but we did not quite make it to 100 in Sacramento, and the reason for that was the haze. We'll talk more about that after the break.
Plus, a new chapter for a downtown landmark. The former Macy's building has new owners, what they plan to do with the space. All right, a hot day across Sacramento as we reach triple digits, and more heat is on the way for the weekend. Let's get over to meteorologist Brendan Minchef because you are tracking a weather impact alert, and then I understand there are some air quality concerns too.
Yeah, air quality concerns, especially for tomorrow, and then heat as we head into the weekend. Sacramento made it to 99 today, did not quite get to 100 degrees, so we stand at just 3 triple-digit days so far this year in Sacramento. It did cross the century mark in Stockton and Modesto. Regardless, it was about 5 degrees above average for not just all 3 cities, but across much of the valley. We've also had a lot of haze today, and that haze is the reason that we did not quite get to 100 in Sacramento, because it does help to block and reflect some of that sunlight coming in. But the trade-off is, of course, that it makes the air quality much, much worse. We've seen air quality index values of about 130 to 150 across the Sacramento metro area for most of this afternoon, because you see that thick layer of haze. Some of that is reaching the surface. That's why the air quality is worsening. That's why it does smell like smoke, but a lot of that is sitting just above the surface and again reflecting some of that sunlight, making it feel and look very hazy out there. A bit of a breeze developing, 5 to 10 miles per hour across the valley. That may help to clear us out a little bit, but that smoke has been kind of traveling down the coastal range in the west side of the valley. So even though we're getting that delta breeze, it's also just going to push some of that smoke back into the region. So we'll see likely a little bit of improvement in air quality, but not a significant improvement this evening. Still going to be hazy. 98 right now in Sacramento, 99 Stockton, 98 in Modesto, 92 in Jackson, 84 in Truckee, 79 in South Lake Tahoe. A very mild start to Friday morning, mid-60s in Sacramento, Stockton, mid to upper 60s down in parts of the San Joaquin Valley, including about 67 in Modesto. Mid-70s in the foothills, hazy and mild to start Friday. Friday afternoon, another day with likely triple-digit temperatures. I've got 102 Sacramento, 104 Stockton, 104 Modesto. Upper 90s and low triple digits in the foothills, close to 90 degrees up in the high country, but it's going to be another hot and hazy day. So let's take a look at that smoke forecast. A lot of these fires are up in the far northern part of the state and just across the state line in southern Oregon. That smoke, because we have a weak northerly wind just above the surface, that smoke is getting pushed into our area. See, it's down the west side of the valley through the coastal range. So even when we get these onshore winds, it's just kind of pushing that smoke back into our region. So we're not going to see a lot of improvement through the overnight hours. It's going to stay hazy and smoky tomorrow across the Sacramento metro area. So we do have that weather impact alert for Friday, region-wide. Poor air quality from smoke from the fires near Shasta. Limit that time outdoors. Keep those windows closed and use the AC. That'll help improve air quality. 102 tomorrow. The record's 113. Nowhere near the record. We stay hazy into the start of the weekend, and we've got a lot of 90s on the way after that, Alex.
All right, Brendan, thank you. After the break, a major traffic alert for Sacramento drivers, why Caltrans is shutting down multiple lanes on Highway 50 this weekend. Plus, Champions of Hope, how one local NFL star is giving back, inspiring youth, and creating opportunity right here in our community. A major traffic heads up for Sacramento drivers. Caltrans is once again shutting down several lanes of Highway 50 for emergency concrete work. It's happening this weekend on the westbound stretch of the Fix 50 project. I want to bring in ABC's Garshwal Sangha, who's joining us live near a portion of that highway with what drivers need to know.
Yeah, Alex, the focus here is on the WX portion of Highway 50. Contractors were here a few years ago fixing it, and they'll be back here for the 45-hour closure. Now, where this is being impacted, this is further up. We are on W Street, and this is going further down on the WX portion of Highway 50. Let's go and show you the map of the area Caltrans says contractors will be out here fixing it. So again, this is westbound Highway 50 between 13th and 15th Streets. Now, starting tomorrow night, 3 lanes will close for what Caltrans calls critical concrete repairs. Crews will rip out and replace 280 feet of damaged concrete in lanes 1 and lanes 2, and those are the nearest to the median, and lanes 3 will be closed for safety buffer for workers. Now, Caltrans says this is a stretch they thought contractors were finished with. They say they have found cracks and broken off pieces of concrete, chunks and cracks in the road that was paved, again, just a few years ago.
After some tests that were made, they decided that the best way to move forward was to remove the whole concrete there and replace it with new concrete.
A closer look at the work, Caltrans says, showed the issue stemmed from the quality of the concrete used and the process that was followed. So the outside lanes 4 and 5, will remain open, but drivers should expect delays. So make sure you plan ahead. And if you don't want to do that, it is probably best to avoid that area altogether. So it's going to be closed starting tomorrow night at 9, and it's expected to reopen sometime Sunday evening. Reporting live from Sacramento, Garch Paul Sunga, ABC 10.
All right, Garch-Paul, thank you so much. Starting tonight, the northbound Highway 113 off-ramp to Gibson Road in Woodland will be closed for safety upgrades. Crews are replacing the free right turn with a signalized intersection and adding crosswalks for better pedestrian and bike access. The closure is expected to last through the fall. Well, the former Macy's building in downtown Sacramento officially has a new owner. Today, the Shingle Springs Band of Miwok Indians tribe announced it purchased the property on K Street for $15 million. The store closed in January after 60 years as a downtown landmark. While no development plans have been formally announced, the tribe confirmed to us that it will not be torn down.
We acquired Capitol Mall, 301 Capitol Mall early last year. And, we're in the middle of planning for that. And then we heard about the Macy's building. So absolutely, I think the bigger plan is to incorporate that into the 301 Capitol Mall project and really expand that project to the DOCO, across the street to the DOCO area. So that would be our hope.
And the tribe also tells us they are open to putting a casino in the space, but says the reason why they purchased the land is due to it being their ancestral home. Final development plans are still in the works. And a new park is coming to West Sacramento. The city broke ground today on Washington Park at the corner of 6th and East Streets. Once completed, it will include lawn areas, shade structures, picnic spaces, and a children's play area and an art installation. This is the city's 50th park. All right, still ahead, our champion of hope, an NFL star, inspiring future generations. Tonight in our Champions of Hope, he's known for making big plays in the NFL, but it's what he's doing off the field that's making just as big of an impact. Sacramento native Eric Armstead is using his platform to give back by launching a nonprofit that's investing in the next generation. Here's a look at how he's turning his success into impact.
Ready? Go!
I'm from Sacramento, California.
Good job! What grade are you in? 6, you right here.
It's important for me to give back to the 916.
Hey!
The area that raised me, it's made me the man that I am today.
NFL star Eric Armstead isn't just making plays on the field, he's making a difference off of it. The Jacksonville Jaguars defensive end was honored with the Walter Payton NFL Man of the Year Award for his impact in the community.
Thank you for your commitment to our communities nationwide.
The award recognizes players who lead with purpose and have a deep commitment to community service.
Just being a product of Sacramento, and I know a lot of people take a lot of pride in my career and the things that I'm doing both on and off the field, and just being a representative of where I'm from. And so it's definitely a huge honor, and I don't take it lightly, and I realize the significance of it.
Armstead started a football camp in 2015, which has grown into something much bigger.
I didn't feel that it was fair that certain young people's opportunities were being determined by where they lived. And so I wanted to help the most disadvantaged students, realize their potential and become successful.
Good catch.
In 2019, Armstead turned his passion for giving back into the Armstead Academic Project, committing $2 million to help kids in Sacramento and the Bay Area thrive. From after-school support to college and career exposure, the goal is simple: give students the tools they need to succeed, both in and out of the classroom.
That's good. They was running 6'4".
This week, Armstead is heading back to Sacramento again, hosting his free football camp where hundreds of kids come together for football fundamentals and educational workshops. But Armstead says it's not just a football camp.
I use football as a lure to get people there, but really partnering with Sacramento State and having a college tour, having financial literacy workshop and a wellness workshop.
If there's one message he wants young people to hear, it's this:
be inspired to whatever goal or dream they have, to go out there and achieve it. Work hard and be willing to make sacrifices to achieve their goals in life.
Say hungry, 1, 2, 3. Say hungry!
And this year's free camp is Saturday at Sacramento State.